it was just a fact. It was just the truth of the matter. And it was literally watching Heyman's Twitter. It's like, okay, one text where he like blew up and went crazy for no reason. Okay, all right, one text or one tweet. Okay, all right. Then it was 2. Then it was 3. Then it was 4. Then it was 13. Literally, then it was 13. Then it was 15. Then it was. I would think it was like ended up being like 16 tweets in a row. Him just having a complete and utter meltdown. I just thought it was hilarious. Like, wow, one little comment really something bothered him, and I think struck a chord. Maybe some truth was told that day.
Oh, there was a lot of truth told that day, and I think that's the problem he had. He's made a living of trying to protect what he thought was ECW and what he did to save ECW, and all I was doing was repeating something that was made by the higher ups at ECW. It wasn't even made to me. It didn't come straight from me. I didn't make it up. And then he had this huge meltdown. And the biggest problem, I've had so many problems with it, but I've been doing this same exact interview about him and about it since 2001. And then he finds problems with it.
I think in the business we call that hitting a nerve.
Yes.
I think that.
I definitely struck a nerve because there was so much that went on from the tweets afterwards, from the stuff I've got from Tommy Dreamer and Danny Doran, because I had no idea that he was going off like this, and the things he said in some ways were hurtful to begin with, and then I got pissed off. And there were so many of the smart marks that were on his side that don't do a damn thing about what we did at ECW in the behind-the-scenes stuff. They're just listening to the Paul Heyman side of it. They don't listen to the guys that got left behind. So when I made my retort, which was a very long response, and if you took time to read it, which I'm sure a lot of them didn't because they want to hear one side of it, they don't want to hear both sides of it because they're going to believe Paul Heyman because he's on TV and C.W. Anderson was the $75 Tommy Dreamer Stooge that he called me, which was funny as shit, by the way. I thought that was the best he could come up with. Anyway, nobody responded. It was crickets after my response because everything I said was 100% the truth. 100%.
Yeah.
And if any of you guys got the High Spots Wrestling Network, you can go and see the Legends of the Extreme Season 2, to where we talk about road stories, and it's myself, New Jack, and Roadkill with Mike Johnson. And that's typical. New Jack goes off on a tangent and all of a sudden starts telling the same exact story I was telling. And then Mike Johnson looks at me and goes, CW, you have some kind of response for that? And Jack said, basically was like, what's up? And I said, just recently, Paul Heyman and I have been in a Twitter war about what you just said. He said that I was the one that was lying about this. But he never come back to New Jack because he know New Jack would beat the brakes off of him.
Yeah.
I believe you definitely hit a nerve. And what did you think? Do you think that he was just pissed because the truth kind of just hit him all of a sudden, like, and he felt guilty, or what do you think was going through his mind at that time?
I don't think, and I always preface when I say all these things, I have nothing but admiration for, because Paul Heyman took a chance on me. He and Tommy Dreamer to give me my job at ECW when they didn't have to, and made me, the guy that I am today. It was because of them, and they opened the door, they let me in, and then my talent and my wrestling skills took over, and did the rest. So it's not nothing. I've never buried Paul Heyman. I've never thought about the money situations and how you for leaving us high and dry. I've always said the only thing you could have done when you were going to close ECW was to show us respect as men and told us we were done. Not us watching you on Raw with Jim Ross, thinking we're going to have a pay-per-view, and here you are on WWE leaving us out to dry. It's called being a man. And I would have, if it would have been me, I would have done the same thing. Shane Douglas would have said it, because Shane Douglas has been very outspoken the whole time about this, and rightfully so. But I just don't think I think he wants that version of what WWE tells sometime about the rise and fall of ECW. They don't never do the ones that were left behind and talk about us. The money we were owed, the times we were, drove to go to Canada and were owed thousands of dollars, and we had the largest house in ECW history, and he still couldn't afford to pay us. How he owed everybody money. We'd get the speech every 3 or 4 weeks that we couldn't pay us this time because of a certain reason. It was always an excuse, and we still believed him and believed the ECW product. And we, went down with the ship. But because I made that out there, because the whole thing was, I said he was out in California filming the movie Rollerball when he was supposed to be out there. He told us he was out there at the USA Network trying to save us. And I guess I should have prefaced it as a rumor, but I just said that's what was told to me by the higher-ups at ECW. They said this, not me. I was just repeating what they said, but it's amazing that the higher-ups have said that. He never had a damn problem with them. It was just little old CW, the one that don't never cause anything. He's a little quiet church mouse. And then, ECW's been closed since 2001. I'm not holding a grudge. I'm not bitter. Hell, I went on to have a great Japanese career afterwards. I just miss ECW and I just hate the way it closed and the way it ended. There was a lot of guys that didn't show up at the last Arkansas loop because Paul owed them money. I was there. He owed me money, but I believed in ECW, and I still respected him enough to be there. When he asked me not to go to WCW after Massacre on 34th Street because there was rumors I was going to WCW, I told him I would never leave him because I was faithful to the people that would give me my job because that's how I was raised, with respect.
Yeah.
And I would have never lit it. I would have stayed at ECW forever. I would have never left.
Yeah, I think that's a mantra across most of us CW is that unfortunately we were loyal to a guy and to give Paul, like you said, his proper due. He gave us a platform that nobody else would give us, but that's a two-way street. That's like the revolving door at the front of the department store, the glass door that spins round and round. Okay, you put something in, but as I recall, as I'm trying to scratch my head, I don't recall Paul Heyman going out to the ECW ring and having a 5-star match or executing a 5-star angle. That was what was done on the back of the talent. And the shame of it is because I was completely unaware of any of this, and whenever I saw the links that Chad and JP had sent to me, I was stunned by that because the thing to me was like Paul. I had never seen Paul stab out like that. He had taken a couple shots at me, something about my body was broken down and couldn't go, whatever. Well, if it was, ask yourself the question, why, Paul? But, I think, CW, and as I think anybody knows, it has a conscious mind is sentient. Paul loved the adulation, and he got a lot of that in ECW, deservedly so.
Right.
But when any criticism came in, it was like the evil ex-wife or mother-in-law that suddenly reared the horns and how dare you say something negative about me. When I left there, and for me, this isn't like some kind of a plug or whatever else. It's a stating of fact. I was owed $144,000. Half of that, over half of that, was money that I was owed directly for running ECW shows and promoting ECW shows in Pittsburgh, West Virginia, Ohio. So whatever you want to say, you could say, c'est la vie, whatever. But to try to take a shot at me after what I had put into ECW and burning bridges, as you know, CW, burning a bridge in this business isn't a smart thing to do. But
right.
To do that and then suddenly start taking shots and then like move on to the next guys and then take the shot at you guys because you had the audacity of asking a certain question. It's perplexing to me. It's all that's what's wrong with this business. And, people always talk about how we drank Paul's Kool-Aid. It wasn't that. It was that we were given a platform and allowed to perform without being told what to say, how to say it, when to say it. And same thing in the ring. We were given complete creative leeway in the ring. And, so when I hear that we drank Paul's Kool-Aid, it drives me crazy, because I will forever be thankful to Paul for the platform that he gave me. But by the same token, that wasn't a one-way street. There was a give and take there, and not just with me, with every single talent in the ECW. And what became the ECW chant, I think, was built on the backs of Shane Douglas, C.W. Anderson, Mikey Whipwreck, Jerry Lynn, Taz, so many of us, that we didn't deserve to get that sort of backhanded, hey, fuck you if you didn't like what happened.